Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are an oldie but goldie, come on in, get settled. Today is a bit of an old school video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Louise Pentland. I make videos about motherhood and lifestyle. I have two little girls. I have a 7-year-old called Darcy and a 1-year-old called Pearl. And today I'm going to be doing Emily Norris's mum tag. So if you're not sure, Emily Norris is a good friend of mine. She also has a YouTube channel that focuses on motherhood and lifestyle as well. She has all kinds of hacks. She has a lot of routine videos. She is the Speed Clean Queen, which is very hard to say all in one go. Speed Clean Queen, and I absolutely love her content. So I'm going to leave a link to her video below. She is so close to 500,000 subscribers, so do go over there and show her some support. You will not regret subscribing to her channel. She very kindly tagged me to do this video where she has come up with 15 new questions. I'm looking at them on my laptop, so I'm going to run through them, answer them. They're all about mum topics, and then I'm going to tag who I would love to see do this video, either on YouTube, Facebook or Instagram. I don't mind where you do it, but I will tag below who I would like. If you are not tagged in it, please don't feel like you can't do it, because I would also absolutely love to see you answer these questions. Just if you're doing it on Instagram, just tag me in it, because that's the best way for me to see it. And if you're on Facebook, message me and let me know you've done it. I will get crack-a-lacking. Okay, so the first question is favourite mum hack, and my favourite mum hack has absolutely got to be the special bath. What's a special bath, Louise? Basically, you know when you have those days where you think that the earth has turned on its axis about 20 times but you've not had a night yet? It feels like the longest day in eternity and you're like crawling towards bedtime. That is when you pull out the special bath card, and to make a special bath, you run the bath and you make it special. So you either put a ton of toys in that you wouldn't normally. If you've got glow sticks, which you can order on Amazon, I'll link below, they are so cheap. You could put in a bath bomb if you're okay about bath bombs. Personally, for me, my youngest daughter's too small and her skin and blah blah blah. But you make the bath a bit special. I'm going to take these off because that noise is getting annoying, isn't it? You make the bath a bit special, you market it to your child as, oh come on, we're gonna have a really special bath and you can stay in it for as long as you like. And they're like, yeah, thanks mummy, you're the best. And then you put them in and you sit down, and obviously you are watching them the whole time, do not leave the bathroom. But they love it, and you get like the mummy points because you've done something fun, and they feel like they've had a nice experience and you've used up a chunk of time for like minimal effort. The special bath, that was given to me by my good friend Claire, who has a toddler, and one day I messaged her, I was like, Claire, I can't do it. She was like, special bath, you can thank me later. So Claire, I am thanking you because that was a good hack. Number 2 is most embarrassing mum moment. My life is a series of embarrassing moments strung together, but my most embarrassing mum moment has got to be when Darcy was about 4. And I had bought in a bottle of Baileys to give to her teacher for Christmas. It was the end of term, it was Christmas time, and I was like, here you go, this is for you, Merry Christmas. And the teacher took it out of the bag. I was like, oh, thank you so much, that's so kind of you. And Darcy, little tiny Darcy, looked up and went, oh, that's my mummy's favourite milkshake, isn't it? And I was like, ha ha ha, yes it is, come along. And I was so embarrassed that she'd said that in front of her teacher, and to this day, she still says, oh, Baileys, that's your favourite adult milkshake, isn't it? I'm like, yes. Yes it is, it's mummy's favourite. Thank you, Darcy, on you go. Number 3, what part of the day do you love the most? And this is something that I share a lot over on my Insta stories, but my favourite part of the day is definitely the morning bottle. I always feel really positive in the morning. I'm a naturally quite positive person. I'm like a glass half full kind of gal, so I wake up and think today's going to be a good day. Doesn't always turn out good, but I always think it's going to. And I really like that optimism, like before anything's gone wrong, before you've had any frustrations. And I make Pearl her morning bottle, and we just have a little snuggle, and it's just very relaxed, and we usually put a little blanket over us, and it's just a really, really nice way to start the day. Number 4, what part of the day do you like the least? And for me, that has got to be that afternoon lull. So if it's like the school holidays or the weekend, that time from about 3 till 5, I find really difficult, because Pearl is usually a bit cranky at about that time. It's too soon to start doing any kind of like bedtime routine. Like we usually start that from about, let's say 5:30, because you're kind of doing like bath and bedtime story and all that kind of stuff. But it's too late for an afternoon nap by then for Pearl. So if she's grouchy, you've just got to kind of like sit it out. by that point in the day, Darcy's kind of got a bit bored. We might have done an activity in the morning, and then she's like, what are we doing now? What can I do now? I'm bored, I don't know what to do. And starts like asking for screen time, which I like try and move her away from. And that's the kind of day as well I feel like my energy dips. So definitely the afternoon lull is my least favourite time of parenting. Number 5 is the worst thing someone said to you when you were pregnant. And for me, it wasn't just one thing that one person said to me, but something that used to really irk me, and I don't know why, because I know it's not a big deal, is when people used to just comment about the position of the bump. I had someone that used to say, oh, she's really laying at the front, or oh, she's really gone back, she's really gone back. And I just think, what are you talking about? She's like in my womb, she's never moving, she is in the womb that is stuck to the front of my body. Please stop telling me about the position of my womb. It used to really get to me. Number 6, a baby name you didn't agree on. With Darcy, her dad and I agreed on Darcy straight away. I think we had some other names in the running, but he suggested Darcy and I instantly loved it, and we were always going to have Jane as a middle name because that's my late mother's name, so that one wasn't really too much of a conversation. And then with Pearl, Liam and I did go back and forth on a few names. Before we knew she was a girl, I had said that I wanted Dash for a boy, and I think he was a bit not sure about that. And also now I think if I had a boy, I'm not sure I would go for Dash. I also really wanted, if I had a boy, I wanted the first name to be my last name, so I wanted to call him Pentland. But then also I wanted the surname, so Pearl has my surname because I'm not married to her dad, so he would have been Pentland, and obviously Liam was like, no. And I'm glad he said no, because that would have been a really weird name for someone. So I'm glad that Liam put his foot down on that. Pearl was going to be Penelope for a really long time. We were calling the bump Penny, and then at the last minute I changed my name to Pearl, my mind to calling her Pearl, and I'm glad I did because I think that name really suits her. Number 7, do you co-sleep? No. I've never co-slept with my children. I think that for our family, they just sleep better on their own. Darcy has always been an amazing sleeper. As soon as we moved her out of our bedroom when she was a baby, she started sleeping through really, really well. And then Pearl as well, we had her cot like in the room that's attached to our room without a door. So it's basically like in our room, but with a bit of a divider between. And she slept well in there, but then she sleeps even better now she's in her own room. So no, we don't co-sleep. They don't get into bed with us at all. In the mornings, if they come in and say hello, I'll say, come on, give me a little cuddle, but we don't all lay in bed together. I don't have any judgment for anyone that does co-sleep. I just think as long as you're getting sleep, that is great. I will say, do look into the dangers of sleeping with little babies. This is something that I feel really worried about because I've read so much about it. Obviously it's different if your child's a bit bigger, and you do you, but just look into everything and then make an informed choice on what works for your family. Number 8 is something you bought and never used, and I feel so guilty about this because this is something that someone else bought for us. So when I was pregnant, I was seeing all these pictures of this product, and it's called a sleeper or a sleepy head. Let me just have a look. A sleepy head deluxe, and it is like this soft arch that's all filled in with a bit of like a bed, so the baby sleeps in it and feels really secure because they can feel something on its side and on its head. So everyone was talking about how amazing they are. You can put them in the cot, you can put it on the floor, you can put them anywhere and the baby will sleep in them. So when my stepmom said, what would you like as your gift from me and your dad, I said I would really like one of those. I know it's a bit expensive, but maybe you could club together. And she was like, no, we would love to get you a special present. So Tina and my dad spent all this money. They're about, let's see, on the Mothercare website right now, the Sleepyhead Deluxe is £130. So Tina bought me this and I was like, thanks so much, that's exactly what I want. And then we used it once and Pearl didn't like it, and we just stopped using it. We didn't use it again because we found that she slept really well just in her crib. She slept in a snooze pod crib, and we swaddled her and just laid her down like feet at the bottom, and she just slept beautifully in that, so we never used it. And then I also read as well that they could be dangerous. I don't know how true that is because I've seen a lot of people that absolutely love them. So I never used it, and I regret asking for that because I feel bad that Tina wasted her money, so don't buy one of those. Number 9 is 3 hospital bag must-haves. Now, I had a hospital birth with Darcy and a home birth with Pearl, but the products I'm going to suggest are things that I wished I had had with Darcy and loved having with Pearl. So I had a vaginal birth with both babies, and I also had a little tear with both babies. I had an episiotomy with Darcy that was stitched, and I also had just a natural tear with Pearl that was left to heal naturally, and I'll tell you, they stung. And so I had loads of the maternity pads. As Emily said, get more of those than you think, because I had to send to people out, like I had visitors coming over. I was like, can you bring some maternity pads with you? So get more than you think. And then on top of them, I put these little witch hazel circles. Now if you keep those in the fridge, they go really nice and cold, and then you get your, that's your like pant, and then you put on your maternity pad, and then on top of the pad you put on these little witch hazel rounds, a bit like cotton rounds that you put them on. And then you put that on, you carefully like lift it up so they don't fall out. Oh, that is very soothing on your vagina, basically. That feels really nice. So I'm going to leave a link to them below. In fact, I've got a video that's all about recovery after birth that is full of tips and hacks for recovering. So I'll leave that link, and I'll also leave a link to the witch hazel things because they were amazing. The other thing that I had in my hospital bag, or like my home recovery bag, was this little squeezy bottle with a little funnel thing on, and you could squeeze water out of it. So after you've had a baby, I don't know what it's like for cesarean mums. Oh god, I just think that would hurt even more actually, but if you've had a vaginal birth, it's a bit sore to go for a wee afterwards, especially if you've had a cut or a tear. So I had this little squeezy bottle, and I would just fill it up with like warm tap water, not hot, just like tepid, and then as you wee you like squirt this thing, because it's got a little spout that you can aim it at yourself. I would squirt that on myself as I was weeing, and it kind of like diluted the wee a bit, and it just made the whole thing much less like there'll be mums out there like, oh yeah, I remember that feeling. So having that little squirty water bottle, I think it's called like a bidet, or I'll link that below for you as well. So that's two things. I would say that my third thing, this is gonna sound a little bit like wishy-washy, is the confidence to say no to people, specifically guests. So with Darcy, when I had her, straight away people were like, can I come to the hospital to see her? Can I come around and see her? Can I come around and see her? And I was like, oh, yeah, that would be nice. But it wasn't nice. I had just like gone through a really traumatic delivery. I was tired, I felt dirty, I felt knackered. I just didn't want to see people, and I felt like I was really invaded, but I said yes to everyone. With my second, I had the confidence to say no, we're not having visitors for the first week or two, we'll let you know when we're ready, and everyone took it fine. It's just if you say it confidently, they'll receive it confidently, and I had a much better time of it. And I felt like when I did have visitors, I was up and feeling a bit better, and I'd put a bit of concealer on, and I just felt able to face the world a bit more. So I would say my three for the hospital bag are the witch hazel rounds, the little squirty water thing, and confidence to say no to guests. Number 10 is, are you a routine mum or a go with the flow mum, and what does bedtime look like to you? I am a routine mum. We need routines in this house. I find that if I go with the flow, I feel really out of control, and that makes me feel quite stressed. I like to feel like I've got good overview of everything, and that helps me stay relaxed and calm and confident in things. So we're definitely a routine family. Bedtime is really relaxed actually, I think, because we're so into the routine. So we have dinner, we'll usually have baths before that. We're not like an evening bath people. Like Pearl has baths during the day sometimes, and Darcy has a shower and hair wash in the morning. So we'll have dinner, we'll do homework, we will see if there's anything that needed for Darcy's school bag, put anything in there ready to go. And then Pearl has her evening bottle, and I love that time of the day as well, same as the morning bottle. And while I'm doing that, Darcy will usually go out and lay all of her school uniform out so that that's ready for her the next day. And then I'll put Pearl down, and then Darcy and I will come in here and we'll sit and watch Disney vlogs together, and then she takes herself off to bed. Like, we have a little thing that we say. She always says, what will you do while I'm asleep? And I always say, I'm going to do some work, and then I'm going to get changed. And she goes, and go straight to bed. And I say, straight to bed at the same time as her. And then she says, good night, God bless. And I say, good night, God bless, love you lots. And she just toddles off to bed, and that's it. So we have a good routine down for that. Number 11 is, what kind of labour and pain medication did you have? I had two very different birth and delivery stories. With Darcy, I had her in a hospital. I was induced at 42 weeks, sorry, gosh, not 32. I was induced with the stuff they put up you, not the injection, and then I laboured for 36 hours. And then I gave birth to her naturally. I think I was on the brink of needing a bit of assistance with forceps or something like that, but it was all a bit panicky at the end because her heart rate dropped and they pressed the buzzer. I think the doctor was coming in, but I got her out, so I didn't need that kind of help. But without going into it massively, I found it not a very pleasant experience. I felt quite out of control. I felt quite undignified. I felt like I just didn't feel good about it. And then afterwards I suffered quite badly from PTSD from it that was undiagnosed. It was misdiagnosed as PSD. PSD, is that right? Postnatal depression, so PND, sorry. And it just wasn't a great experience. And then when I fell pregnant with Pearl, I felt triggered by it all, and all that like panic came back, but I addressed it all with hypnobirthing. I went with a positive birth company, and that is run by Siobhan, who to me is a goddess, and she just changed the way that I thought and think about birth, as she made me see that I'm in control of my body and my body can do it, and my body knows exactly what kind of birth to have. Like, my body is able to birth my baby. And I had an at-home water birth, and I didn't have any drugs with, I didn't talk about the medication with Darcy. Do you know why? Because I had so much, I don't really know what I had. I know I had Meptid. I just felt like they were just injecting me with drugs all the time, and I don't really know what I had. I didn't have an epidural, but I had everything but, basically. And then with Pearl, I did hypnobirth breathing, and I had a water birth, so I had it in the water, and that was it. And it was beautiful and calm, and it's just made me see that you can have the most beautiful birth. And I never thought I'd be one of those women, so I'm so glad that I've had two very different kinds of birth, and that Pearl's birth was such a healing experience. Number 12, have you ever been mum shamed? Yes, I have. I'm on the internet, so I am sharing my mothering choices with a lot of people, and even if 99.9% of people are positive and are like, great, you do you, good for you, there'll be people that disagree with you or say you're doing a rubbish job or make you feel pretty crummy about everything, and what I do is I just choose to look away from all of that and not take it on board, because I feel like I'm doing the best job that I am able to do and giving the most love that I possibly can and making the best choices for my family. So yes, I have been mum shamed, and it's not very nice, but I think for the amount of support I get, it balances out quite well, so it's all right. 13 is the biggest challenges you've faced since becoming a mum. And I had to think quite a lot about this, because there's all the obvious things like you don't have as much time or energy as you used to, and your body has changed in a different way to what it was before. But I think the two that are stand out to me are loss of identity and loss of friends. So I found that when I became a mum, my whole life just got sucked into motherhood, because when I had Darcy, I was a stay-at-home mum for a while, like when I was on maternity leave, and I was her primary caregiver because her dad was working full-time to support us, and I just spent every day at home with her and did all the baby groups, and didn't really have anything outside of motherhood. And I felt like I kind of lost part of myself, because I'd been like, I'm Louise Pentland, I'm doing all these other things, and all of a sudden I was just like, I'm just mum, I'm just Darcy's mum. And I found that really difficult, and you do come out of it and you do find yourself again, but it's really easy to slip into just mum, and you don't take the time to take care of yourself and invest in yourself, or invest time into the things that you enjoy doing, because you're so invested in keeping this human alive. So with Pearl, I've made more effort to do things for myself. Also went back to work much quicker with Pearl, so, and I love my work, so I had that to like keep my brain kind of going. But I think that a lot of women must feel that kind of loss of self, and then you feel so guilty for saying it, because you think, oh, I shouldn't complain, I'm so lucky to have this baby. But you can still feel lucky to have your baby and love your baby, but also admit that it's hard to have that transition. And the second thing that's been a real challenge has been when you drift from friends who don't have children, because your life changes so much. And I'm sure that I have been guilty of this before I had Darcy. I've had friends, I had one friend that had a child. She was called Nikki, and she had a beautiful little baby called Sophie, and I could never understand the challenges that Nikki was facing in terms of like how exhausting it is to be a mum, how all-consuming it is, how you actually would prefer to spend time with your child. Well, like we say it's exhausting and all-consuming, but if I had a choice between like a lovely family day out to like look around the grounds of Blenheim Palace with my lovely children, or like a day out shopping with a friend, I would actually choose to spend it with my children because I love them more basically. So I could never understand why Nikki was always so busy with Sophie, because I'd be like, don't you want to hang out? And it's like, well, of course she did, but she wants to hang out with her child and she loves her child, and that's her, she has to, that's her job as well. And I think it's quite hard sometimes. Darcy, I had Darcy when I was quite young. I was 25 when I had Darcy, so most of my friends didn't have children, so I faced that quite a lot. And even with Pearl, it's been hard because you're in this bubble, like you are funneled into mum life, and unless you have friends that are like super understanding of that and can find a way in, or find a way to drag you out, I think that it'd be quite hard. Which is why, as friends ourselves, it's important when our friends have babies to be like, I get it, you are in this bubble, can I come in? Can I come round for an evening and sit with you no matter what state your house is in? Do not wash your hair, do not put a bra on, I'd just like to come and sit with you for a bit, and stuff like that. So I'd be interested to hear how you guys feel about that actually. Number 14, best piece of advice you've ever been given, or piece of advice you would give to new mums. And I've been fortunate to have been given so many bits of advice, some of them fantastic, some of them not so fantastic, but the one piece of advice that I have loved is when people say, you do you. And you can apply that for anything, like you do you, whether it's motherhood, whether it's style, whether it's what you want to study or what you want to work on, you do you. I think that as long as you are you know, taking on board all factors and you're really thinking about what you're doing, I think that you know what's best for your child and your family. You know what works, whether it's a routine or go with the flow, or whether it's the type of food you eat, whether it's the way you dress, whether it's the toys you play with in your house, you do you. I think Emily said this as well, if you compare yourself to other people, you get yourself in a real pickle. It's not worth it. So you are smashing it just as you are. Number 15 is, who do you tag and who is your mum crush? So I will leave below everyone that I have tagged, but I tag everyone, but the specifics I'll leave below. I have a lot of mum crushes. I'm going to say Emily Norris because she tagged me in this and she knows that I am one of her biggest fans. Mrs. Hinch, who is a soon-to-be mum. I think you're a mum. As soon as you're pregnant, you are a mummy because you're looking after that baby. So Mrs. Hinch. Emma Freud, she's not on YouTube, but she basically makes Red Nose Day happen. She makes me so happy. I think she's a total badass. She has beautiful children. You want to be following Scarlett Curtis because she's amazing. That's her daughter, by the way. Who else is a mum crush of mine? There's lots of people that aren't online that are like mum crushes of like mine. Like my friend Claire, I think is amazing. My friend Jess, who's on Instagram, she is a bit of a mum crush of mine. Lots of people, lots of friends. I will link below who I would love to see do this tag. Thank you, Emily, for tagging me. I appreciate it. And if you got to the end of this video, well done. It was a longie. I will see you on Sunday at 9 AM for the weekly. Thanks for watching. Bye.